Man, so chapter 18, that was something really, really something. It's the scene of Argoltal telling Lorgar all that Ingefell showed them. And man, that was such a journey. And that was so interesting. I really liked it. I had a question with all the visions of, well, the story. So the the Primarch's pods, being cast into the warp and then falling onto planets. And then the last one that was described, that was a fun puzzle of figuring out based on the descriptions which Primarch was it. And that's what I liked. I was like, so the last one was described as having too many limbs to be one person. And I was like, who? I didn't know who that was. Of course, spoilers, I thought it was Alfarius and Omegon, which, I shouldn't know that at this point, but, I know that. And that was all interesting. And then also the same topic, spoilers, of Argoltal seeing his reflection in the glass, but it's what he will look like during the Heresy Wars, the Heresy War. And I thought that was cool. I thought that was real cool. It was a big surprise in a good way. And also the puzzle of, was the vision real? Argoltal's red iron swords were found broken. So it is real. But, I thought it was interesting because it had me have questions on how the warp works. Does the warp, is it not, a straight line that only goes in one direction from a point of origin? Does it have points of origins at all? I'm thinking about this mathematically, like how we learn in school. So there's a line, and so if time is a straight line, I'm not saying that's real. I'm just saying that this is how I'm understanding, trying to piece understanding. The time is going in a straight line, but then the Ingefell can take them when they're in the warp, out of time into a moment from the past and interact with the moment of the past. And that's just another piece of the puzzle about the warp, is it's maybe he took them somewhere and they were hallucinating, and Argoltal did hit something that caused his swords to break, but it would just could have been, stone on the ground or a stone. It could have been anything. And then I just also I thought that was really neat. And then Ingefell kept referring to the death of humanity from aliens. and, spoilers, all the interesting possibilities. Is it who is the most likely suspect for that statement? Is it the Tyranid? Is it the Orc? Is it the Tau? Is it the Eldar? The Necron? I don't know, the Groot? Or I forget what they're called, but oh, the Umbra. That's all I can think of. But I really enjoy thinking about it. Yeah. And then there were all those species mentioned in the Horus Heresy, in the books, in the Horus Heresy series up until this point, like the Cabal, that had like 3 species that aren't the Eldar, the Tau, the Orc, or the Tyranid. I don't know. Maybe one of them was a crew. One of them was described as an insect, like. Um, that was all interesting. And then the Argyle Tal's point of perspective um, about his possession. That's the word he used. I just enjoyed thinking about his opinion, but like all the emotional stuff that is what makes his point of view all that much better. So, he says possession. He describes it as an injustice for, just it's the connection between what is aesthetically pleasing and what is moral. He's really going through, this is grotesque and ugly. How can this be good? And then he questions about before they lower the Geller field to the gods of the warp, and how are they right? Right as in, all the ways the word or the phrase "to be right" has its meanings. Yeah, and I thought, Argyltal's the boy. He's the man. He's the goat. He's Sigma. I mean, he's obviously not a good character, but it just is such a emotional thing to have your world, um, gone, and then you have to make choices in something you can't really, it's just so uneasy. It's so stiff and unlike what you want. So and then it really connects back to the mysteries of, is the word bearer's DNA really a trait to be super loyal to their father? Are they just telling themselves that, or is that really something different? And I want to talk about it. Let me think about the connection. The like the connection about how not every Astartes would follow their father into these these paths, these choices. And that's an example is Gabriel Loken, Rylanor, Saul Tarvitz, Torgadin, um, Nathaniel Garrow. Um, and so, did Argel Tal really make a performance into that other Astartes could not replicate? Like they could no, you know. Um, in that, my opinion, thinking like, well, that's kind of cool. That's kind of admirable of the guy to, like I said, with the, you know, he made a choice that, when his world was gone and all that. Um, I'm losing my train of thought.